I'd like to call the City Council meeting to order. Pastor During from Real Life Church will start us off with a prayer. You can come up here, Pastor.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to be here tonight. I thank you for the wisdom that you promised to those who seek it. And I pray that you be with these council members, that you would be with those who are observing tonight. We might sense your presence. And Father, you tell us if any of us lacks understanding that we should ask for it, and you will give it. And as we talk about the business of the city, I pray that, Father, you would bless it, that you would give us wisdom. It's in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for coming tonight. Clerk Treasurer, will you please call, I'm calling to order. We have a special thing happening tonight. Our Cub Scout Pack 1517, the War Turtle Patrol, is going to post the colors for us, and their leader is Tiffany Palmer. So thank you, Tiffany, for training your boys and having them come out. You may begin.
Scouts, attention. May the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors. Color guard forward march. Prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. May you please join me in the presentation. May you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Please join me in the Scout law. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Scouts reform. Salute. Scouts at ease.
Give them a round of applause. Thank you, Tiffany and Troop 1517, for posting our colors tonight. That was great. We will now have the roll call. Clerk Treasurer Rivas.
Councilperson Alvarez.
Here.
Councilperson Pigorski.
Here.
Councilperson Geishurst. Councilperson Clem. Councilperson Williams.
Here.
Councilperson Gully.
Here.
Councilperson Zilli.
We have the approval of minutes from October the 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 25th.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Are there any corrections, any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor. I have none, but we do have some proclamations. So Scott, I will let you announce those.
Yes, we have 3 proclamations. I'll read the first one. City of Portage, Office of the Mayor, Portage, Indiana proclamation. To all whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas the government of Portage, Indiana celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And whereas, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 32.5 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.7% of firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 62% of net new jobs created since 1995. And small businesses employ 46.8% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. And whereas 79% of consumers understand the importance of supporting the small businesses in their community on Small Business Saturday. 70% report the day makes them want to encourage others to shop small. Independently owned retailers and 66% report that the day makes them want to shop small all year long. And whereas 58% of shoppers reported they shopped online with a small business, and 54% reported they dined or ordered takeout from a small business restaurant, bar, or cafe on Small Business Saturday in 2021. And whereas Portage, Indiana supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Therefore, I, Sue L. Lynch, Mayor of the City of Portage, do hereby proclaim November 26, 2022 as Small Business Saturday in the City of Portage, and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the City of Portage in the state of Indiana, first day of November 2022, Sue L. Lynch, Mayor, and Nina Rivas, Clerk Treasurer. Small businesses are very important. As we read in a proclamation, I own a small business. I know Deb owns a small business, and many of you may be involved in small business ownership. So it's the backbone of our economy. So take November 26th seriously. Is Mary Ann here from Flower Power? If you come up, please. Are we going to get pictures, Mayor? How are we going to do this?
We can. Yes, we are. To her. And just to let you know that we do here in City Hall do business with Mary Ann. We have lovely flowers in here and plants because of her.
Congratulations, you have a great business.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
being supported.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Ron.
City of Portage, Office of the Mayor, Portage, Indiana. Proclamation to all may who these presents may come. Greetings. Whereas the health of our communities, people is the foundation for a caring and productive society, and our future rests with the ability to adequately treat and ultimately find cures for individuals who are afflicted with a variety of illnesses, including pulmonary hypertension. And whereas pulmonary hypertension is a chronic, life-threatening lung disease marked by elevated blood pressure in the lungs, and whereas without treatment, pulmonary hypertension patients live an average of 2.8 years past diagnosis. And whereas multiple treatments are available for pulmonary hypertension, but it takes patients an average of nearly 3 years to be accurately diagnosed, this delay in diagnosis has not changed in the past 20 years. And whereas pulmonary hypertension patients who are diagnosed earlier have a longer life expectancy, and whereas education can help with early diagnosis and funding for research can help find a cure. And whereas the Pulmonary Hypertension Association is a nonprofit organization that seeks ways to prevent and cure pulmonary hypertension and to provide hope for pulmonary hypertension community through support, education, advocacy, and awareness. Therefore, I, Sue I. Lynch, Mayor of the City of Portage, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2022 to be Pulmonary Hypertension Awareness Month in the City of Portage, and urge all residents to recognize the seriousness of this disease and the meritorious work of the Pulmonary Hypertension Association to find a cure. In testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of the City of Portage in the state of Indiana this first day of November 2022, Sue I. Lynch. I believe we have somebody here to receive this proclamation. Holly, maybe.
I believe Holly has pulmonary hypertension, and she was hospitalized this week because of it, so she is not here to accept this proclamation. Just keep her in your prayers, please.
City of Portage, Office of the Mayor, Portage, Indiana, proclamation to all whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas lung cancer is a leading cause of cancer-related death among men and women in the United States, accounting for more deaths than colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer combined. And whereas it is estimated that 1 in 15 men and 1 in 17 women in the United States will develop lung cancer during their lifetime. And whereas screening for lung cancer for high-risk individuals using low-dose computed tomography can detect lung cancer earlier than other forms of screening and ultimately save lives. And whereas lung cancer screening can effectively reduce lung cancer mortality, yet only 3.9 to 8.6% of individuals in the United States at high risk of lung cancer undergo lung cancer screening with low-dose computed tomography. And whereas lung cancer incidence is decreasing twice as fast in men as it is in women. Each year, more women die from lung cancer than breast cancer, and by 2035, more women will die from lung cancer than men. And whereas African Americans have the highest lung cancer incidence and mortality of all races, and disparities in lung cancer screening, diagnosis, treatment, and mortality are well characterized among African Americans and other racial minorities. And whereas lung cancer in individuals who never smoked is the 7th leading cause of cancer-related deaths and accounts for 17,000 to 26,000 deaths in the U.S. every year. 60 to 70% of individuals diagnosed with lung cancer who never smoked are women, and the proportion of lung cancers diagnosed in people who have never smoked is increasing in the U.S. And whereas educational efforts can increase awareness of lung cancer and lung cancer screening among the general public, patients and their families, and healthcare workers, thereby increasing the early detection of lung cancer. Therefore, I, Sue I. Lynch, Mayor of the City of Portage, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2022 as Lung Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Portage, and recognize the need for research in lung cancer affecting women and lung cancer health disparities, and encourage all citizens to learn about lung cancer and early detection through lung cancer screening. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of the City of Portage in the state of Indiana this first day of November 2022. Nina Rivas, Clerk Treasurer. Sue I. Lynch, Mayor. Is Maya Sharma here? She's not.
I don't know, Norma didn't say, so we'll get that to her. Thank you, everyone. Do we have the Clerk Treasurer's report?
I'll save mine when we get into the budget discussions.
Okay, thank you, Nina. We have reports from standing committees.
Yes, Madam Mayor, the ordinance committee did meet. We had several discussions on looking at various fee structures within the city. No final recommendations. I'm sorry. We had several topics that we discussed around fee structures within the city. Nothing finalized at this point. We're going to continue discussions in December.
Thank you, Scott. Deb, do you have a budget report, or are you holding off?
We're holding.
Okay. Okay, we have reports from city officials. Diane from Parks, do you have a report?
I'm never first. Well, about 2 weekends ago, we had our big haunted hayride program, and we did really well. We got lucky with really nice weather. In fact, so nice that we actually had to stop because we were at capacity, but we had about 3,000 park guests go through the program, so it was really wonderful. I do have numbers for the last 5 years if you guys would want to print out to see what our hayride numbers were. I have them for you. I just wanted to congratulate our event coordinator, Amy Armstrong, and all of our park staff that really worked hard to make that program what it is. We also have a lot of members of the community that are volunteers that do the scenes. So I wanted to say a shout out to some of our departments, which was the Marina and the Streets Department. And then also we had some police presence that I want to say thank you, because that just made everything better. Planning for next year, I think the only way we can get more people through is if we get the 4th hay wagon, which I'm still on the search for. Right now our rentals are keeping us busy because we still have most of our things rented out, including 2 city events this weekend, so we're going to be busy this weekend. Just a notice, next week, the park office is going to be closed for Election Day because that is a voting site, and then also for Veterans Day. And we do have our veterans program, not just the one that Deb is doing, but the one for the city for the parks at Woodland Park, which is on the 11th at 10:30, which is open to the public. But that's all I have for right now.
Sounds like you've been busy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ty. Chief Candiano?
Hello. All right, so for October, our total incidents were 2,614. That brings us to about 84.3 a day, which, if you remember all the numbers I've been throwing at you every month, we're actually down about 10 calls a day through October, so we'll take it. That's got us sitting at about 28,940 for the year, which is actually a little bit down from last year. So over the summer, I would have said we were trending in the direction of blowing away last year, but now it seems like something's gone back the other way. So there's usually no rhyme or reason on what causes it, but we'll take it. So as for right now, our hiring, we currently have 3 open positions, but we did make job offers to 3 candidates at our most recent merit board meeting. So they're going through the perf process right now, and hopefully we'll get hire dates within the next month or 6 weeks or so for them, depending on how long it takes to get through that process. As I've been talking about for, seems like a year or so now, we do have a lot of impending retirements coming in the next year, so we have rolled right into another hiring process. So currently taking applications for those positions that are going to open up next year. So again, if you know anybody who's interested, wants to come hang out with us, come get an app. And then lastly, we've got 1 officer at the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. He is set to graduate later this month, and that'll pretty much put us at full staff, other than the 3 that we just made job offers to. For, gosh, almost the last year, we've had an officer that's been out recovering from a work-related injury, and he is now back to work. So I don't want to jinx it, but things look good right now. So as far as community engagement stuff, we participated in Trunk or Treat at Portage High School this year. We were also out for trick or treat last night. We had extra officers out in addition to the normal patrol crew, and we also had a good presence from our reserves who, again, as I always mention, are out volunteering their time. So happy to report that I did not hear of any major issues other than crashes. We had a lot of crashes last night for whatever reason, but I think that was more to do with the weather than anything to do with the holiday. So just a little update again on the ARPA funds. Our body cameras have arrived. We're going through the process of getting the uniforms set up for those cameras, and we're hoping that in the next 4 to 6 weeks we'll have a rollout on those. So it's moving right along. It's just the process of now we've got them, we've got to get trained on them, we've got to get the uniforms equipped for them. But something that we've been talking about for a long time is getting ever closer. And something that we had been working on for a while also, which kind of dates back to the beginning of the year, is Lexapol and our policies and procedures. We're getting a lot closer on that. I know that you all have been working on it on the city side. It is a huge endeavor, but we're getting much closer on that. So good use of money on both accounts, and I think we're going to be really happy with both of those products. So. And I know I mentioned recently that we were able to get some funds to purchase individual first aid kits, and we have deployed those out to all the patrol officers. We got 60 of those. I can't remember if I mentioned it before, but if I didn't, then I'm telling you about it now. And if I did, just wanted to bring it up again because we have used those, fortunately and unfortunately a lot recently. We were able to use some of the tourniquets, chest seals, and things like that. So just another valuable tool that we were able to get out there so that we can start administering first aid when we first get on scenes. So last 2 things I got is we made a post today on Facebook, which most of you probably saw. Unfortunately, we had to announce the retirement of K9 Falco. So Falco's been with Portage Police Department for nearly 7 years. It's kind of a bittersweet announcement because I don't think Falco was ready to retire, and I know his handler, Sergeant Krieg, was not ready for him to retire. Falco hadn't slowed down at all, but unfortunately in September he sustained a pretty serious injury and had a pretty significant surgery. So with a lot of tough decision-making going back and forth, we decided to retire him based on some concerns for future health, and it just, for his well-being moving into the future, we thought it was time to probably retire him. So as I said, he's been a valued member of the Portage Police Department for nearly 7 years, serving alongside his handler and best friend, Sergeant Rick Krieg. During that time, Falco's been involved in numerous narcotics cases, reunited lost children and endangered adults with their families, apprehended fleeing, hiding suspects, and assisted in helping out multiple neighboring agencies. So he's been a very big part of our department, and we're sorry that he has to retire, but we're also happy that he can live the good life now of retirement. So. And then, equally important for some of the things that he did was the community service or community outreach stuff. He was a great dog to be around, and is a great dog to be around children, and he was just, he was great for all those types of events. So I'll say people love our dogs. Since we put that post up, I know that Falco has gotten more likes, comments, and shares than anything I have ever posted. So it's clear that people like the K-9 program better than the chief, but I guess that's okay. So, and then very last thing, always like to throw a little recognition. We'll just keep in line with the theme of the K-9s. Our K-9 team's done a great job this year. As I've stated multiple times, they do all their own fundraising. That program is essentially funded by their hard work. So, we've added a couple K-9s, and they have done a ton of community outreach. Almost every time that I come up here and say we've done something, there's been a K-9 officer there. So once we get into the next year, we'll start looking at fundraising again to replace Falco, because that'll be next on our list, but we'll see what the new year brings for that. So that's all I got.
Question.
Sure.
What's next for Falco?
So at the last Board of Works meeting, we presented to the Board of Works the option to transfer ownership over to his handler, which is Sergeant Krieg, and that was voted on by and accepted by the Board of Works. So he is hanging out at his house now with his handler, and he's a fur baby, and there's some young kiddos over there, so I think everybody will move forward now in retirement happily.
Very good, thank you.
That it?
Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Tracy, do you have anything for sanitation?
Good evening. Everything's doing good. We're starting winterizing, getting ready for that. We had no violations. We are hiring. So we have an operator position available. So if anyone knows anyone who's interested in wastewater, learning about wastewater, they have 18 months to get their certification through IDEM. So, and we would help provide the education, everything like that. So if they're interested, they can get either off the website, the Portage website, the application, or come down to 5500 Old Porter Road and receive one from our smiling faces. And any questions they have, we can answer. It's been a long time. Most of our operators have been there several years. We're starting to get some retirements and moving to different positions, to maintenance. So we're looking to get someone new and new smiling face out there. It is shift work, so that's another plus. It can be a plus or a minus, but it would be shift work. Besides that, everything else is going great at the plant. We're trudging along. We're looking at a lot of greenhouse type things because there's a lot of money out there right now. So we've got meetings with Baker Tilly, with other places for different stuff, looking at maybe the CNG vehicles, anything we can do greenhouse-wise to help with money around there. So, any
Tracy,
questions?
when's your cutoff for hiring the operator?
The cutoff, so we would like all the applications in by November 10th, if possible. If we need to extend it, we can extend it, depending on how many we get. I'm also going to the Work One job fair on the 10th to present there also.
Tracy, I'm sorry, could
Yes.
you, or Miss Marshall, could you just give us like a brief description what that job entails without, having to go to the website?
Yeah, so they're basically in charge of all of our treatment of the water. So they will monitor the plant, monitor the flows, monitoring the DOs, so the oxygen intake that's coming in. They, by computer-wise, by walking around the plant, it's basically, we train them, if they don't already have a class 1, 2, or 3, or possibly even a 4, through IDEM. It's just a lot of paying attention and taking samples, having taken the samples to the lab to be tested, and then starting to understand the numbers.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tracy, good luck. Randy, Fire Chief Wilkening.
All right, good evening, everyone. So this October, we did pretty good. We're pretty much running about the same as we did last year. We're running pretty steady. So we had 497 total calls, 360 of them were ambulance, and we had 2 structure fires. The good news is structure fires are down. We had 12 last year in October, so we got those decreased quite a bit, so that was good. The only bad thing is as Chief Candiano said, accidents in October were up quite a bit, so we were having quite a few accidents. So our total is 5,096 calls for the year, so we're averaging just a little over 500 calls a month. So that's keeping us pretty busy. 3,700 of them were EMS calls and 26 fires. So compared to last year, we had 5,031, so we're a little bit above last year, so we're running about even with last year. We did have 26 mutual aid calls again last month, so that brings our total to 259 mutual aid calls for the year. As far as personnel goes, we did hire a new firefighter. He started yesterday, so he is already a certified paramedic firefighter, so that's a huge plus for us. So he's going to work out quite well. We are finishing up our new hire list, so the merit board, we're going to interview next week, and the merit board will vote on them on the 21st, and so then we hope to start hiring to get them processed to be here by the first of the year. So that's a big plus for us. Luckily, we only have a couple people on major medical right now, so knock on wood that our major medicals are dwindling, so we're trying to get those down. Also, we do have 3 new hires that are in the mini academy right now. Battalion Chief Crail is putting on a mini academy at the MAC, so he's getting those people all certified and fire ready, so that way we can get them on the road and moving also. And we've also had a couple people there. One's just started paramedic school, another one's getting ready to start paramedic school, so we're starting to rotate people through paramedic school also. Our vehicle status is pretty much unchanged. Chuck Litzkow and the rest of our staff, they're doing a really good job of keeping all our vehicles going and keeping up with it. So far, so good there. The process for the new engine is still ongoing, so it'll still be another good year and a half before that arrives. But they are building. The assistant to firefighter grant that we received, the radios are ordered. Most of the stuff is in. They're just getting some other stuff and programming, so we should be getting those very soon and getting them in service. So that's a big plus for us. That'll improve our communications greatly. As far as training, we did have a really busy month as far as EMS and fire goes for training. We did have a ALS skills day for all of our paramedics that are required every year. So we put all of them through. So that's kind of a big deal to get everybody's ALS skills out of the way. So they're up to par in compliance with our sponsoring hospital to do what they ask of us. The crews have been doing a lot of outside fire training, pumping water and pulling hose and raising ladders, so they've been quite busy. We also did a couple of classes dealing with autism. are fortunate and unfortunate to have some people in the fire service that have autistic kids, and they have done quite a bit of research, and they've done quite a bit of education with us to teach us how to deal with the autistic kids. And then we've also, they're called Ben's Blue Bags. They were started out in Crown Point with one of our firefighters' brothers. So he came in and did a review of that. So it's been quite a learning experience for us. And then we also did sponsor a CPR instructor course. So that's training people to be CPR instructors. So that helps out a lot because you can never have too many teachers out there to teach that. I know for a fact. Community involvement. So as always, we always get involved with the Light Up the Gourds. Our office staff loves, they start planning, I think right after Halloween, they start planning for the next year. So we were fortunate enough to tie for first place in our category for our best display. Renee Akers and Julie Thomas, they do a great job. They can't wait to keep going, and they're already trying to figure out what to do next year. We also, to get ready for that, we had a family pumpkin carving night. The union brought pizzas in, and everybody got to bring their families and carve pumpkins for the display. And there's some very creative people out there. I'm not one of them. But everybody had a good time, and the fire family got together and had some fun. We also participated in the Halloween festivities last night. We sent out all our units just to kind of make sure everybody's safe. We were visible. We got a bunch of glow necklaces, and we were handing those out. So those are always a big hit with the kids. So they always come flocking and love it. So had a really good time with that. We did have a little special health objective. Assistant Chief Kodacek, he's been working a lot with the health department. As you know, he does do the COVID vaccinations with the health department and for the shut-ins. And so then he also was able to get flu vaccinations for all the fire department, and he was able to administer flu vaccinations to everybody who needed them. So we have that covered. So a good job to Dan. One last thing, as I said, the 1050s were up. I would like to commend all of our crews. We've had some pretty bad stuff in October, including young adults that had accidents that it was tough for the crews, but I think they performed admirably and very professionally, and I congratulate them on doing a very good job. And then even yesterday, we were on I-94, and we had a state trooper involved in a pretty good accident that the crews did an excellent job on. So, no, I don't know his update, but. That is all I have. Yep.
Thank you, Randy. Thanks for all you guys do. Darren is going to do the streets report, and I always feel bad for our street department this time of year because in the last 2 weekends, all those leaves that were on the trees have decided to come down. And I remember one year on November 4th, we had the leaf raking and no leaves were down. And we aren't even to November 4th, and a whole bunch of them have come down.
They have come down. I thought for sure it was a different kind of pavement, but there's a lot of leaves down. Yeah, that's our report. We've got plenty of phone calls just because of the leaves. But last month we had 497 phone calls, 102 voice messages, 127 emails, 37 yard passes, and 169 bulk charges. It's as far as what's coming soon. Road salt bid has been finalized. So for 22 to 23, it's $72.15 a ton. Last winter it was $73.81. Paint striping is done for the season. The last part we did, because of the cold weather, we went to the fire departments to their parking lots and stripe the lines and stuff. So we are done there. They did 53 miles of traffic paint throughout the roads, 410 gallons of white, 850 gallons of yellow. Crack sealing is done too. We've done from 2016 to 2022 roads. So, and the total patcher is still out there, but we're getting ready to send it back out. We've had some pop-ups happen that are new, so we'll get those taken care of. Leaf report up to date. So we are doing something new this year. It won't be garbage routes and recycling routes. We're going by snow zones. So there will be 5 zones. Right now, we are in leaf zone. We're in our snow zone number 3. Okay, we just started there today. We started picking up leaves on the 24th of October. We worked 3 days in zone 1 and got 7 loads. In zone 2, we received 19 loads of leaves, and we had 3 leaf vacs out on Monday. Today we had 5. We said we have to, you know. So we are out there in zone 3 this time, and we got all 5 vacs out. Bringing up with the leaves, I want to remind everybody to, when you're putting your leaves out, don't put them out in the street, because they will, when it rains, hit the drains, and you're gonna cause flooding. And please don't park in front of the leaves or near them, so our guys can get to them. A lot of that has happened, and we got a lot of calls saying we missed leaf pickups, but we had calls over radio saying people were parked in the way. So, please don't throw your branches, rocks, garbage, all in their leaf piles, because it will damage our leaf vacs and cause us to stop for repairs. Okay. Sanitation report. Last year, we've been doing the recycling audit reports. So last year was 635 or 34 recycling totes were confiscated, because we need our residents to, you know, recycle right. We're getting refused over, we're still being in suspension due to the non-recycling, that you're putting garbage into recycling totes. This year, the date is 230 that they confiscated, and 29 just last month. Okay, so please just, you know, recycle right. It makes it a whole lot easier. You can imagine what saves in your garbage cans, you know. I think that's it for sanitation. Any questions?
So Randy, I'm used to seeing Randy. Darren, one of the things I want to say is that City Hall's been getting calls. People will call my office and say, okay, I've raked my leaves, you can come and get them. We do zones, we don't go to individual houses.
No.
Just because you've raked your leaves. We have thousands of homes in the city, and so it goes by zones. If you look at our government page, the street guys are gonna update that. They're gonna keep us updated. We may be doing some all-calls to let you know where we're at. Please don't be impatient. When these guys fill that truck with leaves, they have to drive all the way up north to the compost site and unload them. So that is out of service until they get back. So Darren, how long is it for them, if they leave, drive up to the compost site and get back?
Depends on what part of the city they're in. If they're way south of 6, it's gonna take a while. You gotta go all the way to Route 12, you know, you're going through traffic lights, all kinds of things. Dumping it, cleaning out the back of the leaf vac, and then getting back up to the routes. So it could be anywhere from, you know, you could do a half hour, 45 minutes, close range, around like zone 1, say, McCaslin Road or something, so, that are close by. But we've been spending like 3 days, like I said here, 3 days in zone 1 just to start out with, and 3 days in zone 2. And today was the first day we reached zone 3. We finished up zone 2 actually today and went into zone 3. So, and from what it's looking like, Zone 1, you know, with the old neighborhoods with a lot of trees, it's pretty bad. So expect I'd say 3 to 5 days in each zone. You know.
Well, and I know that in talking to Randy the other day, he said sometimes you go down one street and it fills up that
Yep.
truck. It's like, it's not that you get 4 or 5 streets done because there's so many areas of the city that are really heavy with trees, and so the
Right,
piles
and
of
you have your
leaves.
different leaves and stuff, oak, or the dry leaves or wet leaves, it does a lot of things. It loads up quicker, or we're just having, you know, 'cause they're wet and all that, and how big the leaves are itself in the piles. I've seen some big piles out there, you know, especially if you got a long area of field or something, or whatever your lot contains, you know, they're very long, so, there's a lot.
Thanks, I know you guys are, it's a tough time for you, because I know that the people want them picked up, and they,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
with
get to
5
hear
trucks
that,
out
you know,
there, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, yeah, we're doing the best we can,
Yeah,
okay?
thank you.
All right.
Okay, did I miss anybody? If not, we're going to move on to unfinished business. We have the 2023 budget adoption, Scott?
Debbie, would you take that, please?
Sure. I'm going to read the fund name and budget estimates as a reread from our meeting in October. The rainy day, 0. General fund, 24 million. Debt service, 402,200. Bond number 2, 1,109,720. Local income tax, 3,402,648. Fire pension, 622,642. Police pension, 623,164. Insurance, 261,250. Local road and street, 688,162. Motor vehicle highway, 3,315,758. Major moves, toll road counties, 141,000. Fire equipment, 300,000. Park and rec, 1,056,495. Park non-reverting capital, 80,143. Building demolition, 126,000. Cumulative capital improvement, which is the cigarette tax, 120,000. Cumulative capital development, 953,905. Redevelopment general, 2 million. Redevelopment capital, 12 million. Trash sanitation operating, 2,436,384. Local law enforcement continuing education, 136,000. Park non-reverting operating, $359,078. Sidewalk waiver, 50,612. Wheel excise tax, 1,009,655. Port Authority, 21,182. Park and Rec impact fee, 268,735. Marina operating, 402,027. Wheel tax, 79,613. The ARP fund, 5,114,361. Motor vehicle highway restricted, 3,006,085. Corporate bond number 2 proceeds, 2,019,103. Total of 66,105,922. Let this reflect, it has been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Well, I had some questions, but
Okay.
So as the chairman and member of the Budget Committee, I am so proud to say that the 2023 budget not only is realistic with regards to our ever-changing economic climate and fully funded. Our committee, along with Clerk Treasurer Rivas, have worked very closely with the department heads, taking into consideration the department's needs and wants as they relate to the growth within our city, any adjustments for future requirements. All of the department heads deserve great credit for always being in tune with their departments as things change. They are always thinking out of the box and continue to make all of us proud in how they serve the city. Some of the examples of the major improvements in this year's budget include, we are adding the 3 additional fire personnel, and we'll have the 3rd ambulance fully staffed and 100% operational when that staff is on board. We are adding 4 additional police officers. The equipment bond will allow us to bring about equipment much needed now and into the future without putting a strain on our general fund. That equipment bond will help all of the departments. We are putting approximately $650,000 into a sidewalk replacement program, street light and traffic light repair and replacement. That is something that it has been lacking. Our cumulative capital improvement fund is increasing over $400,000 because of the reestablishment of the fund, which was done earlier this year. And last but not least, we are on track to establishing a rainy day fund, which has not been in place for many years. Once again, I thank you to everyone who worked on this and continue to work hard every day to manage their budgets, that this is put forth, that the hard work really is paying off. And just as a little sidebar, and Nina can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the best yet budget for this administration since we started, keeping in mind that we had less than $12,000 to work with when we took seat.
And I have to congratulate the Budget Committee and the Clerk Treasurer for working on this. We've all been in sync with each other. It's nice to sit down and talk this over and work through it. All the years I was on the council, it seemed like it was a battle. I feel like we've gained a lot of ground. We knew coming in this was going to be a tough fight. We knew it was going to take 2 to 3 years. I think we're approaching that now, and I'm really ecstatic at how far we've come from where we were. So thank you everyone who had any part in developing this budget. It's refreshing. Ferdinand, you had something to say?
Sure, thank you. So, it had been mentioned at our last meeting, the first October meeting, that this budget is the city thinking outside of the box. Could you elaborate on how we're thinking outside of the box and how we're adjusting to be able to make these improvements in our purchasing and et cetera?
It's a loaded question. It's been a work in progress. So I guess I would attribute some of the work on updating our chart of accounts to it, because we know exactly what we're paying for, where it's coming from. When you pay things out of due subscriptions and miscellaneous, you don't know what you're paying for. So that helped a lot. Getting the IT budget on track helped a lot. The reestablishment of the CCD fund, being able to, when we were moving back payroll systems, so we'll be able to track people's hours and pay for their time out of other funds if it's well tracked, and it will be. So that was a big portion of it too.
I think the department heads, part of their thinking out of the box is most of them, that if it's available, they are looking for every grant under the sun. That saves us enormous amounts of money. So they again, that's just a part of, they deserve a lot of kudos for doing that.
I would say too, just eliminating ADP will save next year $60,000. It adds up, the thousands add up.
Very good, thank you.
So Ferdinand, I think another thing that we've done is we've cleaned up a lot of redundancies. It's always ongoing because we're finding things that has saved us enormous amounts of money. So I think that sorting through that budget and all those expenses that we've been having the last 3 years actually has helped us understand where we're spending money that we can move elsewhere. So, we were also blessed with $8.3 million in ARPA funds, which significantly helped us. But we also know that that was a one-time thing. So we are preparing to go forward without counting on those funds. So it's a major thing. I think Nina bringing up the fact that we can do the equipment bond, freed up money in other areas that we were trying to free up. So absolutely, but it's been a combination of people working together to make this happen.
I'm sorry. I'll go back to say when David brought up about, Councilperson Podgorski brought up about the rainy day fund. The rainy day fund isn't necessarily just for a rainy day fund, but it is to be able to show our bondholders, our stockholders, and an S&P rating, that we have at least a minimum of 20% of disbursements, which is $4 million. So that's what we need to do.
Very good, thank you. That's why I asked. Look at all those extra comments we got. Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, Nina, would you then call the roll, please?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully.
Yes.
Thank you all. New business, we have introduction and adoption of ordinances. We have a second reading. Scott, would you take that, please?
Yes. Ordinance number 2217, an ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map. Be it, and it hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, the ordinance shall amend Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code and accompanying zoning map in the following manner. The zoning shall be changed from 8C Highway Commercial to M1 Multiple Family Residential on the property identified 19 plus or minus acres south of Portage Avenue and west of the Duneland Trails subdivision, and the attached legal description is attached Exhibit A and Great Lakes Engineering Exhibit B. There is a conditions precedent. Each dwelling unit would have 1,250 square feet of living space. Let the record reflect this ordinance 2217 has been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
So this is just to change the zoning, basically this is the first step?
Yes, and then the precedent of that each dwelling will be 1,250, a minimum of 250 square feet of living space.
Is that all of the information or the conditions precedent set so far? I mean, do we know how many residences there will be and all of that?
I don't see anything else. Is that what you're asking for? Okay, no, I don't see anything else on it in the ordinance.
Are there any other discussions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have a first reading on the salary ordinance.
Brian, would you take that, please?
Salary ordinance, budget year 2023, ordinance 22-21. An ordinance establishing the amount of salaries and compensation to be paid to all appointed employees, officers of the City of Portage. Porter of City of Portage of Porter County, Indiana for the year 2023, be it hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana as follows. The salary schedule as presented by Sue Lynch, Mayor, to the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana. That from the first pay date in January 2023 through the last pay date in December of 2023, the pay schedule for the employees and officers of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, be fixed as follows. We have Mayor, $83,466.23. Clerk Treasurer, $77,404.56. Common Council members, $17,077.50. Let the record reflect that this has been read in its entirety.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. Nina, call the roll, please.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes?
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Deb, do you have any discussion? Nothing? I would like to note that the mayor, the clerk treasurer, and the common council did not receive a raise again since this administration came into office. We have not taken a raise to save the citizens money, so I just want to make that very clear in case people saw these numbers. They're the same numbers as when we came into office.
Mayor, I would also add that elected officials can't reduce their salaries more than the previous year.
So is there any other discussion? I do want to say that the 12 years I was on the council, I think we were passing the salary ordinance like in January and February. This is the first time that I ever remember passing a salary ordinance that we all worked on together. This may be something that's presented by the mayor, but it's certainly worked on collectively by everybody here. So it's not something that I just dreamed up. We worked on it together. So, Nina, do you want to call the roll on that, please?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes?
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion carries. What, Dan, that was a first reading. Can we? Okay. We have petitions, remonstrances, and public input. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to the council or present anything? This is the time to speak up. If not, are there any other matters to come before this council? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sir, did you have some? So would you let us come forward and let us know what that first reading was for, since we don't have any paperwork? You want to let us know, please?
Yeah, so my name's Katie Koff with Hepner, Wagner, and Evans. I'm filling in for Todd Leith. We thought we were on the agenda for property located at 3395 Swanson Road, a zoning change. It would be first reading from R2 to C2. We received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission last month for that zoning change.
First time that I've heard of this.
Okay. Can we make sure?
And AJ's not here to.
Yeah.
to,
I noticed that in the beginning, so can I ensure that we're on the agenda next month, or what do you need from us?
So I think the best course of action here is that we will check with planning department, make sure that they have everything they need.
Okay.
Send the council consideration, get you on the agenda.
We did go through the,
I'm very,
Yeah.
so the, otherwise we wouldn't be talking.
Oh, yeah, right.
If we need something, if there's something missing, I'll
Okay, thank you. And Todd Leith is the main attorney on this case too, so, but Katie Koff, yeah, that's what I thought.
So, Mr. Whitten, it's going to get pushed back, is that what you're suggesting?
So it's not happening tonight.
Yeah.
Is what I'm telling you, because this council hasn't been given anything to consider. What I'm saying is, I will reach out to the planning department and find.